If you want to be a good restaurateur, it's not going to come easily.
Ce qui est le plus important pour moi, c'est que mes clients repartent avec une expérience.
Michelin is the holy grail. And I'm happy to argue about that with anybody.
Je vois ce restaurant avec peut-être 1 ou 2 étoiles au guide Michelin.
My uncle was a chef. My dad was a chef. My grandfather was the chef of a rather large brigade in France. And so I was kind of born into it. It was very natural for me to talk about what was in the sauce or what was not in the sauce, even at a very young age. As I turned 14 or 15, I was looking at a documentary on TV and I saw that incredible story about a hotel Swiss school in Lausanne. And I said, that's it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be an accountant. I said, this is what I want to do. I was extremely fortunate. After graduating, I joined the prestigious hotel company Four Seasons. They asked me if I was interested in moving to Canada. I said, yeah, of course. Well, who wouldn't want to live in Canada, right? And then I had a wonderful opportunity to open a restaurant called Splendido. And then from there, I opened, I think, 14 restaurants, and then I did the Carbon Bar that's still in existence after 12 years. And of course, Lucie.
Je suis né en France, dans le sud-ouest de la France. Et le Canada, aujourd'hui je suis au Canada parce que c'était un rêve pour moi. J'ai personne dans la famille qui est dans la restauration. La cuisine, c'était une passion pour moi. Ce que j'avais envie vraiment dans la gastronomie, c'est de pousser la perfection dans la cuisine, dans comment préparer par exemple une sauce à la perfection, avoir des saveurs incroyables.
The best way to find a chef is to find it within your company. For Lucie, it was a completely different story. Lucie, I wanted to do something really authentic and very French. And something that I could say, if I travel to Paris tomorrow and I'm going to a fine dining, beautiful restaurant, modern, what would I eat? And that's where, when the Lucie concept came to life, I said, I need to go to Paris and see who is cooking there that would be interested in coming to us. And then we can build around them. And Arnaud is actually quite a tall fellow, so he's a very strong foundation for us. And then eventually Julie, our sous chef, joined. So all of a sudden you're creating a story that didn't exist before.
So the chef is nothing without the team. So for that, the team is very, very important. I have a team, it's my family. It's my second family. I work so many times with them, and we find some products from Canada, from India, every part in the world, because I work with a lot of people in my kitchen.
I've always wanted to be in the kitchen. I knew from like 5 to 7 years old that I was made for it. That's pretty bad to say it, but whenever you're a woman and a young woman in the kitchen, it's still pretty hard in France. And that's also why I came with Chef Arnaud, because he gave me the opportunity to grow and be a manager as a young woman in the kitchen, and he trusts what I was able to do, what I showed in the past when we worked together. So I'm pretty proud that he accepted me to come and do that job, but it's very hard in France.
The Art of the Sommelier, it's almost like if you learn how to the lifestyle. This is a tough art, and as art you need to exercise yourself. Most of the wine here are French, but definitely now we are in Canada also, in the New World, so definitely we try to reach like other wines. I'm very interested about what's happened in the South America, especially also here in Niagara or on Peninsula. So yes, this is where I try to get the wine list here.
Je suis né en France, mais voilà, j'ai grandi dans les îles de la Caraïbe. Et j'ai eu la chance d'être bercé un peu dans une culture culinaire qui est complètement différente et qui est mondiale. Donc travailler avec des épices, travailler avec, on va dire, un foie gras avec des épices ou autre. Ce qui est important pour moi, c'est quand je suis avec mon équipe, qui vient du monde entier, c'est de pouvoir avoir un échange avec eux, avoir des idées qui sont complètement différentes. La base reste toujours la même, une préparation de sauce à la française, une préparation de viande à la française, mais une petite subtilité d'assaisonnement qui peut amener un plat de base à un plat d'exception. Tout ça, c'est très important. Alors, ils m'aident beaucoup à faire des recherches sur des nouveaux plats.
I think my touch is a little bit on every plate, but it's very small details that we put at the end to finish the plate. My best touch that I can bring here is like looking for perfection and tell the very small details.
This is a very emotional story for me because I didn't really spend time with my parents as I was growing up. So my grandmother was a widow very young, and living in the Pyrenees in a very small village. Just imagine a 4,000 inhabitants village, and there's a lot of hotels, lots of restaurants because we have a lot of tourism. We lived above the business, very traditional in Europe. She was a great cook. She loved cooking. And one of her most favorite thing was before I would leave for school, she said, Yannick, what do you want for lunch? And I would just say, honestly, rabbit, whatever, coq au vin or whatever it was. She'll run to the market and she'll come back and no kidding, there would be lunch ready for me, exactly what I'd requested. She was a saint. She would never say anything bad about people. She would just always be there for the people she loved. That's why this restaurant was called after her. I don't think she would appreciate the level of cooking that we do here because that could be probably a bit too fancy for Lucie, but she would appreciate the generosity and how we're trying to express that gratitude to our guests. Until March 2020, I couldn't do anything wrong. There was one line, one direction, and nothing would actually take me away from there. God, was I wrong? Everything, my world completely collapsed. And not just my world, many people's world. So I had to start doubting something I didn't know how to do. I had to start thinking that there wouldn't be a tomorrow. I didn't think that it would ever stop. After that, I had to learn that failure was actually okay. And I didn't know that. And then you have to learn what failure looks like.
Le problème du Covid, c'est que ça nous a tous affectés, tout le milieu de la restauration, mais pas que. En fait, le monde entier a été affecté par ça. Ce qui nous a beaucoup affecté, c'est la clientèle a changé. C'est vrai qu'on fait beaucoup plus attention quand on sort au restaurant. Covid a été très très compliqué pour la restauration.
You're not always successful. Unfortunately, you need the failures to learn the true challenges of being in the restaurant business. It's sometimes okay to say that you're wrong. It hurts. But it's okay to be vulnerable and say, well, I could have done that better. So today I see talents. And when I see people like Chef Arnaud, that is bringing generosity, but also an incredible amount of knowledge to Lucie, you want to continue. You owe it to them to keep pushing the envelope every day. We'll be chasing the stars, of course we are, because we have to do that. This is what Lucie was created for, to create an outstanding dining experience, to surprise people, to give them a sense that the ordinary of their day is probably left outside when you walk into Lucie.
Donc pour moi, le guide Michelin, c'est quelque chose de très important. Ce sont des professionnels de la restauration, ce sont des professionnels qui savent très bien juger, en fait, on va dire. Donc aujourd'hui, on a une recommandation au guide Michelin, reçue ici à Lucie comme mais je veux aller encore plus loin. Et avec notre team de salle, notre team de cuisine, et puis on est en train de travailler sur un restaurant qui va devenir exceptionnel.
I'd say Michelin is not everything, but almost everything. Michelin has that incredible foundation. So there's a mystery, there's a mystique behind it. This is the concept that you belong to a group of incredible professionals